Kevin Wolf, president of Cohen Capital, and Domenic Romano, a business law attorney, join us now to discuss, first things first, are banks doing business with companies that deal with weed? Well, talk to you, Domenic, first.
They've been very hesitant until now, because it only became fully legal in two states very recently, Washington State and Colorado.
Where recreational use of marijuana
Correct,
is
for adults.
fine.
Exactly.
Okay. In Colorado and in Washington State, and there's 20 or 18 or so other states where it's okay for medical, it's legal for medical reasons, correct?
That's right. Last year, an estimated $1.5 billion of legal marijuana was sold. Just to give you an idea, to put it in perspective, the total marijuana
it's
sales,
a lot more than
exactly,
that.
about 20 billion, legal and non-legal.
Okay.
Now, just to give a little more insight on that, what does that mean? Last year, the federal government spent an estimated very close to $8 billion enforcing the marijuana laws. And by Jeffrey Myron's estimate, who's a Harvard economist who's looked extensively at these issues, if marijuana were taxed at similar levels to alcohol and tobacco,
it could bring in how much money?
$6 billion
a year.
A year.
Yeah.
So we're really talking about staggering numbers, and that's why the banks are interested, but they're hesitant.
Okay, and they obviously need cash, right? Capital, lending to...
Yes. It's very important because the big banks are very hesitant, even with the guidance provided recently by the White House, by the administration. Banks, the big banks, the conservative banks, which are traditionally very risk-averse, see danger here. Number one, the administration could reverse its policy. Remember, these aren't laws, not by Congress. It's by basically a White House memo. Secondly, what if a new administration comes in and decides to enforce the federal laws to a stronger degree, even in those states where it's legal for recreational use, Washington State and Colorado? So those are two big issues. Why is it important? Because a lot of these small businesses, legal small businesses in those states, are forced to deal in cash. They can't open bank accounts. They can't get checking accounts. And so, in a sense, they're also not reporting. Banks are not able to intervene. You know, banks are imposed with a lot of reporting requirements. So a lot of, if you will, activity that may not be legal is not being reported because the banks and more traditional institutions aren't involved.
Can be even bigger than we're estimating.
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So the banks are seeing green in more ways than one, but they're hesitant to dip their toe in.
People who don't really know much about the industry or the stock market saying, oh, I just bought this stock and that stock and they're all marijuana related and they're typically cheap right now, so you can buy a lot of shares.
Sure, but you know, those people are going to eventually be right. It's inevitability. Look, Gallup polls have been showing consistently the needle has been moving in favor of full decriminalization and legalization right across the country. If you look at the demographics, CBS News last week, their poll, 51% of all of Americans. The Gallup poll, two-thirds of all Americans aged 18 to 29, two-thirds, the overwhelming majority, favor full decriminalization and legalization. So eventually, I think we're going to see more states following the lead of Colorado and Washington, and at the very least, following the lead of the 20 states and D.C., which allow limited medical use. I think we're going to see that.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree.
Thank you so much. Great topic. I wish we had more time, but to hear more from Kevin and Domenic, go to their websites, cohencapital.com, you're looking at it right now, as well as romanolaw.com.